Welcome to Hustle and Heart TV. I'm Darieth Chisolm. I just love watching people accomplish success. I just get so much enjoyment out of watching someone set a goal, go after it, and achieve it. And it, for many of us, gives us the permission to set goals and go after them as well. There's nothing better than having somebody hold you accountable. So I'm here to hold you accountable and tell you to keep setting your goals and striving big. My next guest did just that many years ago. In fact, I've watched him go from being a professional football player with the Pittsburgh Steelers to party entertainment promoter and now a mega success in the real estate and mortgage industry and owner of an upscale restaurant. Chuck Sanders, a good friend of mine who I used to run the streets with in Pittsburgh some 20 years ago, now offers a wide variety of outsourced services to his clients through his company, Urban Lending Solutions. So if you are in the real estate industry, mortgage industry, looking to get into it, grow your business, you're going to want to grab pen and paper and pay close attention to this next episode with Chuck Sanders on Hustle and Heart TV. You're watching Hustle and Heart TV, a video podcast show that spotlights expert advice from top money earners, successful entrepreneurs, superstar network marketers, and leading authorities in business and marketing. I'm Darieth Chisolm. I'm inviting you into my home and I'm bridging my own personal success as an entrepreneur, MLMer, news anchor, and now video podcast show host to help you leverage more tools and resources, make more money, and generate more ways to take action, become a rock star, and love your journey. Chuck, thank you so much for being a part of Hustle and Heart TV.
Oh, thank you. It's always fun to be here.
It's just going to be a blast today because we're going to dive right in to all the success that you've been having with Urban Lending and, of course, Savoy, your restaurant. What is attributing to that? I mean, right now, you know how they say you work, you hustle, you grind, and then you get to this place? You're there. How does that happen?
I mean, you said exact words. I mean, it's a hustle and it's a grind, but it's a belief. It's just knowing that, you know what, if I do this, if I go this way, if I work hard, it'll work out. And, kind of, a vision. You hear that a lot of times. You're around, you're just kind of connecting the dots. I like calling it connecting the dots. Even from when I played football, I would see the people who would come to the games, the people who bought the suites, the people who were sponsors. And those were the people I wanted to network with to look at, hey, how are you doing things? How are you putting things together, being in the position you are in business? And that's really where it started for me.
Let's talk about what urban lending is, because it started as one thing, but it has since grown and expanded. And what do you do with your company? And how is it that you've been able to do that over these years?
Well, what Urban does, we provide back office services for national banks, for all banks, but our main customers are the top 10 banks. And this is back call centers, loan modifications, mortgage underwriting, title, appraisal, closing, all those type of things that the general consumer doesn't see when they go in to get a loan for a home, or they're trying to reduce their mortgage or keep their home. A lot of those are outsourced by the banks to companies like myself. It really just started as a job. After football, I had met a gentleman named Bob Murphy. Once again, the importance of networking. As a football player, there's a lot of opportunities to go to speaking engagements, be around, visit the suites, talk to people in the locker room. I had met Mr. Murphy. He owned a golf course at the time. And we struck it off in conversation. He asked me to come out and just be around a lot of the guys he knew. So at one point, I'm like, you own golf courses, you own a lot of, what do you do? That's what I want to learn. And that's how it started, really asking him for a job when football was over. One thing people don't understand, they always go, why'd you quit football? No one quits football. Football quits you. They told me my services were no longer needed. But I went to college. I graduated with a business degree based on what my father had done as an entrepreneur. I always wanted to get into business.
And so you knew then, obviously, that it was important to make connections, as you say, connect the dots, make sure that you're networking, have a business mind. But you didn't start with urban lending. It started in a lot of different directions.
Yeah, and me and Darieth, we go back, we're friends.
Yeah.
So, I can't hide anything from you. I mean, you remember when I was running around the city promoting and marketing and doing different things. I mean, from, concert events to charity events to just things. But the key was I was able to build a nice network and a nice marketing where, and this was before social media, where I had a good following, where, hey, if you talk to Chuck, he can get, a couple thousand people to a place or more. And that was important because at the time, Bob Murphy had owned a semi-pro basketball team. the Pittsburgh Piranhas. So really it was started out as a marketing company. Hey, I can market for you. I can bring people to your games. I can get products out and, to the general public. And that's when it started with Chuck Sanders Promotions.
And from there, you saw the need, obviously, to continue growing this and be open, particularly to the real estate industry when things were going well.
Yeah, and it comes down, you hear the word all the time, networking, networking. But I really always was a person that I didn't go to any event, didn't go to anything. I was always looking for what's going on, what are the people in the room talking about, what's happening in business. And even though I was around, like I said, at the time I was doing marketing for the basketball team, which my background was in sports and in business. Once again, behind the scenes, the ownership, what are they doing? What are they doing to make the money to put this out? Because most of the time, and no disrespect to these owners, but it's a hobby to them until it grows into a business. Something fun, something. So real estate was really booming. This was early 90s. Real estate was really booming. The business I'm in, Pittsburgh, happened to be a cottage industry. Mr. Murphy had started lender service. So I was just really keeping my ear to the ground on, I really need to get into real estate. And from a real estate position that traditionally I didn't know about, back office. I knew about buying and selling a home, but just back office type work.
And how did you learn then? I mean, because from that standpoint, you just knew you were hungry enough, you were ready to hustle enough to get it, but obviously you had to get some things in place in terms of what you needed to know and then position yourself in the marketplace to be successful. What were some of those early steps like?
Well, I think the first thing is to get a job in the industry. A lot of time people don't, very seldom are you the person who just, comes up with the idea for Google, or even those people worked in the industry. So I think it was important for me to get a job in real estate and then and build a track record there. So for my first 4 or 5 years, I actually worked for Bob Murphy at a company called Value America. And there I grew a reputation for being very good at putting together a vendor network that was able to supply the products and services that the banks need. I then went into sales and built a reputation for being a good salesperson. So I was making the connections and the relationships before I launched my own company. Because you want to have a little, you want to hedge your bets. Before I opened the door, I knew, well, I know the people at First Union Bank at the time. I know the people at Bank of America. I know the people at PNC. So if I do launch out on my own, that I would be able to, start with a running start. And then the next step was to partner with Mr. Murphy. I went to Bob Murphy. I worked for him at the time, and I basically just told him, hey, I want to start my own company. Would love for you to be my partner. And so my big sell was to sell him on letting me start my own company. And that had a lot to do with years of friendship, trust, and making him money.
Yeah, and you really, I mean, after that, the positioning has just been tremendous. The awards, the accolades, it has just been a wonderful thing to see the company grow. But beyond that, you've also had a big influence in philanthropy, and you've made sure that you've given back along the way. That is certainly the heart of all of this. And you found ways to make sure that you're still very much in the Pittsburgh community, but also across other communities in this country.
Right. Well, we all know the importance of strong family. I was blessed with a great mother and a great father. I tell people, you're influenced by your first job. And my first job was literally putting up the tents for my mother. And she was the old street corner evangelist. I mean, she was like, I don't care about this football, about nothing else. We're going to go out this weekend and spread the gospel. So I always was just trained in whatever you do, you give back, you go to the community, you try to share whatever resources you might have been blessed with. So I give all credit to my mother and my father for just putting that in, instilling that into me. And it's funny because being a good corporate citizen, community citizen, works with being a great business person too. It helps with your business success, even while you might not be trying. And I don't think you'd hate to be in a position where you're ever trying to manipulate that. That's never been it. But when people see you're out working hard and you're doing things and you're giving back to your community, it makes you a partner they value. So, there's been many opportunities where I went out, spoke, helped someone, or did something, and I didn't know that person knew somebody who was my next connection in the business. So it all works hand in hand. But yeah, I think everybody has that responsibility. I don't think it's anything special that I do. I just think that we all have especially once you get kids, you want a good community for yourself and for your kids.
But it's a responsibility you don't take lightly. I mean,
No.
you clearly, you've endorsed a lot of things, both with your name, but with your company, and you know the value of being inserted into a community and helping, and not just with dollars, because it's nice to be able to write a check, but to be there in a physical presence because of the message that it sends.
And one of the organizations I have to point out, after a few years in business, I had got involved with the local NMA NMSDC, which is the National Minority Supplier Diversity Council. And that really made a difference too, because it really opened my eyes to, as I told my story, I never went into the business looking at it as a minority-owned business or something that, you know, this is what we do. But then it opened my eyes to how important it was to build minority businesses for America, period. And so to become a leader in that really helped me, and that was something that really inspired me to look at all the small businesses, minority-owned businesses, women-owned businesses, and how we could help those grow, because it was just great for not only the community, for America, for households. So that's an organization that's really been beneficial for me and really inspired me to really work with a lot of, like I said, minority businesses.
And there are lots of people who today are trying to find ways to grow a business, to expand a business, to start a business, and they're always looking for resources, and they're always looking for incubators or masterminds, so to speak, who can help them as they navigate that. What would you say would be some key principles that people should be considering if they're starting their business? And then we'll move later into talking about where to take it when you're in the growth phase. But for those that are just getting started, some key principles that Chuck Sanders says you must do in order to be successful.
Yeah, number one, I mean, know your industry and know it well. Like I said before, I mean, some people want to jump right into entrepreneurship without having a job maybe in that field. Maybe you want to start a outpatient clinic. Maybe you need to go work at one for a while. Like any industry that you might want to be in, it's good to get some time in there. You know, work a few years, you'll build your network, the other thing is just make sure you have the capital. I mean, whatever capital you can get. Look at, like you said, there's resources out there to make sure. Nowadays, there's all kind of office share space, things like that. I mean, you want to be in a position where you can set your business up as much as you can to be professional and present yourself. And it's much easier now with a lot of the things that are going on technology-wise. And then just, you know, and then another big thing is know what's going on in the particular industry for conferences. That was a big thing for me when I first started out. I mean, you talk about hustle. I'd ride, share, hustle, bustle, get to a city where I knew there was a big real estate conference. If I had a cousin, or auntie, or uncle that lived there, look, I'm staying at your house. I don't got the money for the hotel right now. And then you just maybe, you know, you get in there and just network. I mean, get into these conferences, you know, meet people from across. Because another thing right now is everything's pretty much definitely national but global. So, you know, you got to get in there and meet some people and realize, wow, this is what's going on in this part of the country or this part of the world. And what I'm trying to sell, if it can't grow beyond just my local, then I got a problem. So this is some key things.
Yeah, and we'll talk about what it means to really position a company in those early growth years, and then what long-term looks like. And certainly it's all about global expansion. So we'll dive into that, and we'll also talk more about your restaurant, Savoy, when we come back. Stay with us.
Thank you.
You know, so many of us are so busy trying to build a following on social media and the internet. Here's a question for you. Could you do it without the internet? Sure you could. That's the way most people do, right? You network, you get out, you get involved in your community face to face, shake a few hands, collect a few business cards. Imagine if you doubled up on those efforts as well as continuing your online campaign. But when we come back, Chuck Sanders talks a little bit more about why that's so very important, and we should never lose touch with creating relationships offline. More on that straight ahead.
Welcome to Smoke Cigar Shop and Lounge. Come smoke your ash off. Come for the knowledge and stay for the experience. With 15 years in the cigar business, we are here to help you find just the right cigar for you or a gift for someone else. We have cigars to fit any budget and palate, from super premium to hard-to-find boutique brands. A comfortable lounge to enjoy your cigars, free Wi-Fi, and BYOB with cork fee. Sit back and relax and get the full experience. There's always a lot going on at Smoke Cigar Shop. Sports, news, great conversation, or meetings with your coworkers. To stay on top of all of our events and specials, visit us at smokecigarshop.com or on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Smoke Cigar Shop. Download our app at the App Store or Google Play Store. We're open 10 to 9 during the week and until 10 Friday and Saturday, Sunday 12 to 5. Remember, Smoke Cigar Shop and Lounge. Smoke your ash off with fine butts and hot ashes.
Are you looking for a way to advertise your business, product, or service? Why not do it here on Hustle and Heart TV? We'd be happy to send you our media kit for show sponsorship and advertising. Reach out to us at info@dariethchisholm.com or give us a call at 412-692-1600 and we'll send you a media kit with all the information.
Bad things happen to good people. accidents, serious injuries, or even death. When they do, families call Frank Walker Law, where we fight to get you the compensation you deserve. Hard-hitting representation when you need it the most. A real law firm getting real results.
One place for all your insurance needs? Of course. See State Farm agent Steve Chris. Call or stop by today.
So Chuck, you obviously have been quite busy with urban lending, but you also have a restaurant, and a really nice one at that, Savoy. How are things going there?
Good, good. I mean, you know, the restaurant business just kind of came out of my need to socialize. Real estate's fun, but it can get to be a real close world real quick. Kind of lost touch with the general public, going back to my old days as a promoter and all those things. I always liked being out there. And Pittsburgh's a wonderful community. It really is. I felt the need for just another little touch of New York, Miami, Vegas, you know, with a really good offering. So I actually was looking at real estate in the Strip District, and I ran across this building that happened to have a liquor license and a restaurant license. And I was like, you know what, why don't we develop one? And it started out as just something personal I wanted to do, to be able to sit and talk. I mean, this world of technology and everything, when can you, some of the great times are when you just sit down with somebody, have a meal, look across, and just talk to them. So that's what Savoy was about. We've been great. It's been fun.
And the concept is quite interesting. You knew to bring in that type of what I call swanky, if you will, really kind of swanky, upscale, to that area, and then attract a lot of people into town. And any day of the week you go into Savoy, you're likely to see celebrities, athletes, mom and dads. I mean, whoever. People enjoy coming there for what it offers.
And that's what I love about it. It's an extension of how I like to live life. I've been blessed with just a whole diverse group community of friends, and you know, the judge over here, that guy, you know, that I grew up with, who's the main guy, the guy on the basketball court down in the hood. I mean, you know, just to have all sit across from each other and be able to talk and say, oh, this is what you do, this is what I do, and you know, in Pittsburgh, by design, it's hard because no one likes to cross the bridges. It's hard to get everybody from, okay, how's the South Hills going to mix with the North Hills? It's going to mix with the East Side. Everybody has their little pockets, but the Strip has really grown as a place that everybody comes to. So, like you said, it's wonderful to see at Savoy, you know, a Darieth Chisolm will walk in, and all the young ladies who I know look up to you will be like, oh, there's Darieth, and you know, you're relaxed, you got your hair down, and you speak to everybody. So that's one of my joys of Savoy. Bringing all the different people from, you know, across Pittsburgh together.
Well, thanks for creating such a fun place, because it is a nice place to hang out. But it obviously takes time and work, and you have to figure out a way to leverage all of the different aspects of in your life to manage two businesses, and maybe your third or a fourth. How do you do that? Yeah,
it is tough. I mean, one instructor with a wonderful wife, who behind the scenes she came out of just, man, I'm a good leader, and I'm a good, hey, we're going to do this, but I ain't too good at getting it done. So she and a lot of my people under me manage, and just really getting intellectual capital. I mean, I really got some great people who work for me. Really, I got somewhere in the neighborhood about 10 different businesses. A lot of people don't know, but behind the scenes, we have an insurance company, we have title companies, we have a lot of different companies that we have. And, we even have a marketing company. So, but we have great people who run these for me, and it's being able to just, you know, I don't micromanage. I really trust people to do their job and get it done, and I've been fortunate to have some really good people. For instance, the restaurant, our chef, you know, Kevin, I mean, he was on the board for the Cordon Bleu for years, and he just knows every aspect of the business. And he runs the restaurant along with John Bettis and some of my people. So they get mad. I mean, I show up, I eat, I smile, wave, keep it moving. I don't do too much work down there.
But that almost, I mean, that's the American dream for entrepreneurs, is to be able to develop one business, create enough capital, spin off, create another stream of income with a second business, a third business, obviously having them under some form of an umbrella, if you will, but being able to manage all of that and be successful at each of them. That has to be, I mean, yeah, as you said, you've got great intellectual capital and a great team. What would be some really important things that you would share with people about who are interested in doing that, who are not just trying to manage one business, but several of them, and how best to get it done?
I think you have to be honest with yourself. Do I have the attributes? Do I have the leadership qualities? You know, some people just, you know, you got to look in the mirror. Something, you know, am I a manager? Am I a leader? Am I both? I mean, you got to really know early on. I don't shy away from being a leader. You know, I think some people, oh, that's, and I don't want to sound, you know, cocky or anything, but you got to have some confidence. You got to walk into a room like this is going to work and lead people. You know, obviously, a lot of this comes from my football background, where you just, you know, it's competition, and you're look, I'm going to be the best. I'm going to do what it takes to be the best. So be honest with yourself. If you really need other people to motivate you, entrepreneurship might not be for you. You know what I mean? Like you said, if you really don't have that hustle in you, that it just irks you when you wake up like that you didn't make a move, then it's probably not for you, because that's what it's going to take to be successful. And let's define successful. Successful is not, to me, measured by dollars and cents. I mean, you know, if it's, I started something, I got a passion for it, and it's winning, and it's sustaining itself, and it's creating jobs, and it's doing it, then, you know, you won, and you're successful. How big you want to take it, how small you want to keep it is up to the individual. But I really think a lot of people should look in the mirror and be honest and say, do I have a track record? That's another thing. Let's be honest. Was I the guy who kind of, you know, or the lady who kind of, when I was met with a challenge, kind of just backed out and let somebody else handle it? Or did I take it on and win? Even if I didn't win, did I take it on? And if you can honestly say you can, then it's probably for you. If not, be honest with yourself. And
let's talk about some challenges you have faced, because in business we all face them, and it's inevitable that you will, especially if you're trying to run several companies. Maybe one or two that for you just were tough, but you got through it, and how you got through it.
Yeah, well, getting into the real estate world, what I found out was not only was it non-traditional for minorities in the position I was in, it was really non-traditional for the banks to not work with the big 3 or 4 group companies that have been doing it forever. So once I got a little bit outside of the local arena, which can only take you so far, and start trying to go after some of the bigger companies, it was really a challenge to make a mark, to really say, well, why should we do business with you? Do you have the scale that we need? So building scale was a major problem for me in the beginning, being able to, I mean, if you get a customer like a Bank of America, or even a PNC is a perfect example. PNC is all throughout the East Coast now. These banks are growing. So it was very important for me to build scale. And it was interesting. People look at it like, wow, Chuck, that was a genius move. But to me, it was just like, I better do what I need to do. And I literally just jumped in the car and went from city to city, went from courthouse to courthouse, new family, new friends, built me a whole network of people throughout the country that could work for me and do work for me, and then build me a vendor database and build me a network across the country that worked specifically for urban. And that actually turned into be a major plus with the banks, because the banks looked at it like, wow, you have your own network of people to do the work, the groundwork for you. So once again, a lot of hustle, a lot of work, building to scale. There's the basic things in the very beginning, like I mentioned, capital. You know what you're getting into. Not too many things you can start right now and not have the capital to sustain it. So, and there's a lot of resources out there for that. And then once again, too, having some loyal people around you. I mean, you know, it reminds me when you're a kid and you got to sell that candy. You know, there's like 4 or 5 people in your family you can count on. Like, they'll buy. You got to have that. You got to have, you know, 4 or 5 people around you who you just know are going to go to battle with you. They're not sitting there going, well, is my paycheck going to come Friday? They're like, we're going to believe in the dream, we're going to believe in the vision, we're really going to work hard to accomplish it.
And that's important, especially when you're beginning, or in your, as we talk about being in that growth phase of just trying to figure out the next place, is having a team around you that gets it, because there'll be a lot of this.
Oh, yeah.
And you can't be here in it for this. You got to be in it for this as well.
Absolutely, yeah. And I mean, you know, a lot of people, you know, in the beginning, you know, my sister worked with me. I still have a lot of family members who work with me. And I know you hear in business school, how family and business doesn't mix. But, you know, I had a lot of family who just really believed in me, and I was able to go to them, things that I wasn't good at, and say, I really need you to do this. I really need you to do that. And they came through for me. And it wasn't about a paycheck. It was about really believing in, you know, the vision you put out there, and them seeing your leadership, and you just believing you're going to win. I can't stress how important it is to just let people know, and you believe in that. You know what, when it's all said and done, when your back's against the wall, we're going to win. You know, I faced payroll many a time, challenges like, how are we going to make payroll this month? And it's a heck of a motivation. Thank goodness it's been years since I had to deal with that. But I mean, in the beginning, we got to make X amount of sales so we can make payroll, and let's go do it. And you did it.
Yeah, it's the stepping stones, and it becomes the story that you get to tell when payroll is no longer an issue.
Absolutely.
We need to take a break, but we'll pick up and talk more about lifestyle, since we've already looked at leadership and leverage, as well as some additional points that you might offer to someone who's really at the point of exploding and looking at expansion. So we'll talk about that in a moment. So what steps have you taken lately to take your business to a whole nother level? Or are you stuck or stalled? I'd love to hear from you. So send me an email at info@dariethchisholm.com, or you can like me on Facebook at Darieth Chisolm or on Twitter at Darieth Chisolm, and share your journey. Ask me a question, give me a topic or two, or a potential show guest. Looking forward to hearing from you.
The award-winning Savoy restaurant has become synonymous with fine dining, upscale ambiance, and a great destination for local and national celebrities to enjoy the night in style. The Savoy has won multiple Savor Pittsburgh awards for its delicious menu. Our wine list was awarded Wine Spectator's 2012 Award of Excellence, and the Savoy has also won the American Institute of Architects' People's Choice Award for its beautiful architecture and design. For dinner reservations and more info, log on to savoypgh.com.
The Pink House, a 100-year-old attraction filled with the sweet, yummy smell of award-winning Wagner's chocolate. This unique boutique is unlike any candy shop you've ever experienced. The indulgent aroma delights you as you wander from room to room, and you'll discover Wagner's is more than just chocolate. Shop for your own candy-making supplies. Visit the gift shop, book your next party, and be a kid again in the fun ice cream parlor, where they serve hot and cold drinks and Hershey's ice cream. The signature chocolates are handmade with care and attention to detail. You'll be amazed at the favorite offerings that keep generations returning to this family-owned gem. Chocolate-covered pretzels and Twinkies, caramel apples, homemade biscotti, and so much more. This family-friendly experience is worth a stop in Finleyville to experience a 37-year-old tradition. Or order online at thepinkhouse.biz and give a call to 724-348-2238. Well, you know, inevitably with a video podcast show like this, we obviously have these breaks, so we got into a little football talk. We were talking about our sons in football, but let's just kind of pivot and talk about your year with the Steelers and just your football career, maybe your memories around that, and how that has, I'm sure, played a big role in who you are today.
Huge role, huge role. Like anything, I think any opportunity you have in life, you got to look at it like, how can it help you launch to the next level? One thing earlier that I realized, and at the time, it was looking forward. I knew football wasn't going to be a long career for me. I just knew it because, I mean, you got to, once again, I said earlier, being honest with yourself. When I got there, it wasn't a talent thing, it wasn't that, but I just realized that my goal and my passion was in business. Like I said, I was blessed with a father who was that guy, you know, had the local trucking company and everybody came to him for the job. If the church needed a new piano, they came to Dad. And those were the days when they would literally knock on your door and be like, Mr. Sanders, can you help me? There wasn't no emails or texts. So, early on, I said, I know this is going to be a stepping stone, so let me really network. Let me meet people. I mean, to be around the Rooney family, anybody from Pittsburgh would know. I mean, to be around the Rooney family, and they were wonderful. I mean, I was one of the last people on the roster, but they took time to know who you were, and hey, we know who your father is, and your father's trucks worked on our first stadium. So to be able to know those people and get in that circle early was just unbelievable.
I'm sure it had a big influence on, you know, positioning yourself early, as you said, in the game of football, but then knowing that you were going to take whatever you could in that time that you had and leverage it and grow it into where it is now. How do you encourage kids, though, who maybe just don't have that focus when they're young, who don't get that it's really important that anything they're doing today will always play a role in where they are in the future?
Yeah, it's a challenge, especially I think, you know, they're finding themselves more, and you know, Darieth, we grew up in an age where you were kind of pretty much forced to socialize. I mean, there wasn't sitting in your room in front of a video game all day. So that worries me that kids aren't getting out and just really, I don't care if it's on the, I've learned so much on the playground, I've learned so much just how to get along with people, how to communicate, how to say, hey, if we work as a group, we can get more accomplished than not. So I think it's very important that, you know, we get involved with all the things that are going on out here as far as be it there's a ton of great charitable organizations out here that where mentoring is really needed. I mean, I really think we have to get out here and mentor, and then for kids to participate. I'm telling you, the younger people out here, you know, get involved. Go to, I don't care if it's through your church, through your school, through my youngest is in Cub Scouts now. I love it. You know, just really take the effort to put down. Not saying, oh, I know you still want your hour in front of your video or your tour, but put the video game down, get out, join something. That's all networking. All networking is, you know, communicating, socializing, meeting people. Because you know, how many people have we met and then down the road, you meet them again and they help you again. I mean, when you first came to Detroit, we were friends, you know, and here we are years later. And I know I can always call on you and you can always call on me. So, you know, I really just say, I really encourage young people to get out and take advantage of all the programs that are out here. Join something. I don't care what it is. Chess club, sports club, community service. Join something where there's other people.
Well, and just pivoting and switching back to business and being a model in business that goes from this growth to really this expansion. We talked earlier about global expansion, but for companies or for businesses that are really trying to just break the mold and get to that next level. When you're playing at that level, the air's thin up there, but you've got to institute, I would imagine, a few things that are very important strategically to that expansion. What would those things be?
Well, one thing, I think you got to have something that gives your company a value that your competitors don't have. Maybe that's innovation, you know, a product or service. One of the big things for us was I remember back in 2005, 2006. You got to look at what's coming up next. You know, Samsung has the next big thing, you know, and that's true. And we were in a position where everybody was on the origination side, which in our business means people are getting loans, people are getting homes, business is booming. It's kind of look where people aren't looking. And we looked at, yeah, but, you know, at some point this bubble could bust. And when it does, what's going to happen for people to be able to adjust their loans and stay in their homes? So we really went hard into the loan modification, and that was a boom for us. Our business grew, 200-300%, because we were the only ones on this side of the fence, and we seen ahead on what was coming down the pike. So you have to be really strategic about what can I do in my company that sets us apart. And then once I do that, get out there, market it, sell it before it becomes the thing. You know, and I think that's important to you. And that takes a special skill. It takes having the right people around you. And it just takes that knack that makes, you know, that one CEO a little bit better than that other CEO. Everything's not, you know, I come from a football background. I think it's foolish to think that, well, you know, we'll all win. Everybody don't win, as you know. Every Saturday, somebody wins and somebody loses, and it's the same in business. You better be competitive, and you better work on those things that are going to give you that advantage.
A really good point, especially when you talk about kind of gauging the distance and figuring out what direction am I going in? Am I traveling in the right direction? And am I forecasting?
Right.
And keeping, you know, because you've got to be doing that to stay ahead and lead the parade, if you will.
Absolutely, and being able to be a risk taker. Being able to feel strongly about, you know what, I've done my research, I got this gut feeling, I know where it's going, I'm going to go there, and I'm going to believe it's going to win. And when it wins, it's great, but sometimes you lose. There's been things I forecasted and lost, but hey, I know I tried.
You know, that's another point, too. Oftentimes people, I think, get this impression that because you tried one thing and you failed at it, that you're just no good at it. Or maybe you've tried 5 or 10 different things and only got good at one. It's okay to do that, right?
Oh,
it's because that's why you learn.
Yeah, it's a great learning process, and everybody knows that. I mean, not knows that, but people have experienced that in life. They just don't put it in their business. I mean, you know, every date didn't go great. Every test I didn't go to the A in, but you learn. I think that's the key, and that's where I go back to having this belief. I really think it's important not to shy away from having a strong belief in yourself. You know, I think self-worth and self-value, and you know you're putting the work in, is really important. To go, you know what, I made a call here, it didn't work. Let me look why it didn't work and adjust and go back out of it. I think that's important.
Let's talk about balance, because oftentimes very busy people get out of balance easily. When you got a lot of balls in the air and you're moving around, it's tough to do. How do you balance your lifestyle, and what do you do? What do you do to take time away so that Chuck has balance so you can continue to do all the things that you do?
Right. Well, I like how you put that. I like the fact that you said you do get out of balance. I think the first thing is people realize, oh, I can handle all this. It's no big deal. I got to be the big man in the room. No, understanding that, yeah, you know what? I'm getting a little too far over on this side, or I'm getting too far over. I'm spending too much time on business and not enough with family, or I'm not taking care of myself health-wise. That's always been a big thing. I know you're huge into that you're going on all these business trips, you're eating out every night, you're this and that, and, you know, things like that. So I think balance is something that you have to be, you know, conscious of, and you have to make an effort. I mean, and not just, you know, it has to be a lifestyle. I really believe it's a lifestyle. And it takes discipline. It takes a lot of learning how to say no. That was really hard for me. I mean, I went to a person that was an expert in that field. They said, the problem you got is you have much anxiety saying no as you do saying yes. So you can't win. I mean, you say yes and you're like, you say no and you're like, So there was tools I worked on to be able to say, I need boundaries. I can't do everything. I can't do this. I can't do that. And that comes to some true self-assessment, you know, and just understanding, you know, we got one life to live. We need to be healthy. We need to be healthy for our family. I've been blessed with great kids, so that's kind of easy. Look, I'm not doing that because my boy's got a game. I'll be there. It is a good balance for me.
You know, we in this half hour or so that we've been together, I feel like we've gotten a lot out of you, so thank you very much. But I always like to just squeeze just a little bit more at the end by you sharing with us 2 tips, and one of them is a hustle tip, something around just what would you share with someone as it relates to hustling or grinding or working hard, and the other is a heart tip. Kind of love and passion and being committed to what it is that you do. So what are your tips?
You know, I love the way, and this obviously is, you know, incorporating the name of your show, hustle. You know, I mean, think about that. You know, sometimes it's seen as a negative. You know, he's a hustler. You know, but as we know, it's really, you know, that grind, that making those moves that no one else would make, those things that you really don't even talk about publicly. I mean, I will be honest with you. I used to go to conferences and you sit there and you see somebody and you're angling them up and you know what, I'm gonna catch him at the bar, I'm gonna catch him at dinner, I'm gonna catch him afterwards, I'm gonna catch him when the guard's a little down. So being honest with yourself is, you know how best you market yourself. You know, if you're a talker, be a talker. If you're a smoother, be a smoozer. I mean, do what you have to do. You know, people, don't name drop. Yeah, well, sometimes you do need to name drop. I mean, you know, so, I mean, my tip is figure out your own formula. Don't let somebody, so many times people told me, Chuck, you're too loud, you're too this, you're too that. But I'm comfortable with it, and it worked for me. And if I'd have listened to, this is how you need to do it to get here, yeah, there's definitely and there's definitely some good points in there. I mean, you're not going to be a doctor if you don't go to medical school. So I'm not saying just try to go all the way around, but know what works for you. I think some people just really don't know what works for them, and then use that in your marketing skills, and your getting it done, and really in your leadership skills, and getting your team to understand we're going to win. Like I told you earlier, there was plenty of times that I was like, man, how are we going to make payroll? But I knew there were certain people on my team that didn't need to know that, and there were certain people who did need to know that. You know what I mean? This one I'm going to be transparent with, this one I'm going to be a little cloudy with. You know what I mean? So those are just things, it's a tip that be you and use that. And from the heart, I would say this is, if you're going to talk about entrepreneurship, if you're going to talk about building a business, one, have a goal that's bigger than everything. For me, it's just generational wealth. It really is. I've just done a study. I mean, I love to hear about the Kennedys, the DuPonts, the Hineses, the Johnson family. I mean, people who just built something and took not gonna say all the risk, but took the risk, took the shots, took the hammer, so that their family down the line is okay. I mean, you laugh and you joke about a Paris Hilton can go around and do her little things and get in the news, but guess what? She can, because Conrad Hilton did everything. She's good. And that's my passion. That's my goal, that when I'm long gone, that, my kids have something that they can look back on, that, hey, Papa Sanders built this. So I say that because if you cannot, for the money, for the accolades, it fades very quickly. There has to be such a passion. For me, it's legacy. For someone else, it might. I think you're fooling yourself if you think it's for money, because even if you make the money or don't make the money, you get to a point where it's like, I got to wake up every day and just really be fired up about this. And if you're not fired up and have a passion to win and do this, you're not going to have what it takes to have the hustle to get it done.
Well, Chuck, I mean, seriously, I often say this, and it's so great that I get the opportunity to spend time with people who really know what it means to hustle and to have heart and be committed and passionate towards their dreams. And you've done that over and over again. So thanks so much for being on the show.
I thank you. I thank you for the forum to be able to go out and inspire people and talk to people. So I appreciate it. We go back. You're a great friend. Thank you.
You can't help but be inspired. Chuck, thank you so much for being a part of Hustle and Heart TV. I got so much valuable information, and I know that you did as well. In fact, if you're enjoying our shows, I am asking you to please share it. Share it through social media, let a few friends know about it. We'd love to be able to encourage others as well. And thank you so much for writing reviews and watching and listening. It means the world to me. I've got a couple of show sponsors who have a great message for you up next.
Do you dread going to work every day, stuck in a dead-end job? Hi, I'm Daryl Warden of the Miles Group. I love my career and you can too. We're looking for people who like to go to work, have a great time, take control of their schedules, and take charge of their lives.
I worked in food service and I never knew that I could be happy, help people, and make great money.
We will train you, help you get your license. If you want to work amongst friends and make great money, call Team Warden at the Miles Group.
Hi, I'm Jan, Rappreneur Extraordinaire. What does that mean? It means days filled with friendships, a job that's all about fun, and a life of freedom. But it wasn't always this way. Not long ago, I was a stressed out working mom with a boring job just trying to make ends meet, when I saw this amazing picture on Facebook. It said if I had just $25 and 45 minutes, this crazy wrap thing could tighten, tone, and firm my skin. I thought, no way, those results are unbelievable. So I had to try it. I went to a wrap party, and in just 45 minutes, I was experiencing those unbelievable results for myself. I found out I could join the party with my own website, have my own parties, and make some fast cash by having fun with my friends. I shared it with my Facebook friends, and they all wanted to try it. I just followed the company's simple 3 steps to success, and before I knew it, I was earning free wraps and cash, and having a blast doing it. Best of all, the checks kept getting bigger and bigger every month. I was able to pay off my credit cards and student loans with this crazy wrap thing. Now I've quit my job. I'm able to spend more time with my kids, and my family is living debt-free. I've got the life I've always dreamed of, and you can have it too. To start redreaming your life, join the party today. It's simple. Try it. You'll like it. It works.
Get more information about It Works Global. Go to simplesuccessfromhome.com or call 412-692-1600.
Hello, I'm Candy Castleberry Singleton, and I am the founder and chair of the Dignity and Respect Campaign and the Chief Inclusion and Diversity Officer at UPMC. And I'll see you on the next episode of Hustle and Heart TV.